Prayer is a powerful tool. Keep listening today to find out about a community that is putting the scripture where 2 or 3 agree to work. Hello and welcome to the Unashamedly You podcast, a space to enlighten, encourage, and empower you to go out and unashamedly be who God is calling you to be. I am your host, Jamie Herndon. I pray you hear less of me and more of Him as you listen to today's episode. Let's grow together. Hello, Unashamedly You community. I am so excited for this episode today, and I know that you guys are going to be so blessed because we have someone visiting on our podcast. And her name is Lauren. You may have known her from her Instagram page, Moms That Pray Together. If you do not follow her, you definitely will want to be after this episode and finding out more about her. But I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself and tell a little bit about herself. Lauren, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Lauren Johnson. I live in Bakersfield, California. I married my high school sweetheart. We started dating when we were like 15. And next February, we'll actually be married 10 years. So we're really excited about that. I have 2 girls, 2 and 4. They are my everything. I work and I also kind of stay at home. It's kind of both. I'm an ultrasound tech, so I take call at a hospital. My schedule is kind of all over the place. So sometimes I'm working a lot and there are weeks where I don't work a lot and I'm at home. So I kind of see both sides of like a stay-at-home mom, but also a working mom. And then we're very involved in our church. And obviously I started Moms That Pray Together. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
That's awesome. So that's kind of like me and my husband as well. Matt and I, we started dating when we were 15.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the same church school. So that's kind of neat that you guys are the same way, but we celebrated 15 years this past September. So
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So I love that you said that you know a little bit about working mom and a little bit about stay-at-home mom. It can be challenging both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see the pros and cons of both.
Of both worlds.
Yeah.
Well, you started Moms That Pray Together on Instagram. How did that get started? How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, so it was after I had my second daughter. I had her in February of 2020. So if that timeline makes any sense to you, that was right when COVID came out. I think I had her like 2 weeks before everything locked down. So we were luckily able to have my mom and my husband's mom in there. But after that, I mean, like the world basically shut down. So, I had a new baby, COVID locked down. And then also during that time, me and my husband decided to sell our home. And we were in a place where we knew we weren't going to live there forever, but we were fixing everything up and we were putting our money into it. And we just kind of were like, okay, if we're going to keep putting our money into a house, we want it to be our forever home. So, we prayed about it and we said, God, if this is your will, then help us sell this home. And He did, but we hadn't found our forever home yet. So during that time, we actually moved into my parents' house because they were at my grandparents' house because they needed to live with them for health reasons. So we were doing that. So there was just a lot of new things going on in my life. And a lot of it was very intimidating and scary because there was a lot of unknowns in my life. So through that, I think that contributed a lot, but I was not diagnosed officially, but I was dealing with postpartum depression after my second daughter. And, it's kind of funny because I don't know if this is for everyone, but I definitely had like a realization point of like, okay, something's wrong here, like this. And it kind of took me a while. I think Hazley was like 7 months before I really realized like, this is not right. Like something is wrong here.
Right.
So I had that, and it wasn't just me, it was it was, luckily my mom and my husband, they were both, came to me and they were like, you are not yourself. And then I had to realize that in myself. So I did what I was raised to do, what I knew to do. And that was to take it to God and to pray. And so once I had that realization moment of what I was dealing with, at the same time, I realized how far I had drifted away from my relationship with God. I was dealing with all that. I was basically like walking around in a fog. And to play devil's advocate for myself at that time, our church wasn't really having church because we were, but it was online. So I wasn't physically going. And I don't know if I'm the only one, but I really did appreciate or like realize to appreciate how much gathering together and at your church really does affect your walk with God.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. And just being in that building together and
Mhm.
seeing your brothers and sisters that are there in the church with you. And oh, it plays a huge part.
Yeah, when I realized that and I really started praying, I will never forget. I went down to the church one night and I just like bawled because just being in there again, I mean, it was just I missed it and it was such a good feeling to have again. And so, I really started praying a lot and coming back to God and asking him, to help me through what I was dealing with. And through that, I started well, I really believe that God gave me a purpose. I had such a burden for moms. I started praying not only for myself, but for other moms that were going through this. And then I started doing these prayer requests. So it didn't start out on Instagram right away. I did on my personal Instagram, I started prayer requests. And then I started a little group chat, like a text message group chat with a bunch of moms that I know. And then I started the Instagram. And so, yeah, my favorite thing to do that I started out mainly what it was for was I put like a question box of prayer requests every week. And I really hope that moms do pray for each other. And that's the real goal is just supporting each other. And if you really believe in prayer, prayer is the best way you can support somebody. So that was really my goal when I started this out.
Wow, that's so amazing. So you started it because you knew that there was a need for yourself,
Hmm.
right? You needed that prayer. And whenever you opened up and asked other people on your social media page if they, like for that prayer request box, if they had a prayer and a need to put one in there, were you surprised at the response you got?
I really was. I really was surprised. And I keep everything anonymous. So when I do share it, no one knows, who they're praying for, or who put that. Cause I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it's personal things, but yeah, I was really surprised. I was pleasantly surprised and I was really happy. And I just pray that when I put those out, people really are praying for each other, and that's the support. And I love it too, because people message me and they say, they give me praise reports and I love that. It's like my favorite thing. And I always share them because I think it encourages others too. But they'll say like, I asked for this prayer request and then this happened and I'm just, thanking God. And so I love that. That really does help too.
Wow, that's so amazing. Did you expect it to grow like this? Anyone that's grown on social media knows that growing your Instagram account doesn't happen overnight, but you have gained quite the traction and followers within this past, what, year and a half or so that
Yeah.
you've had this
Hmm.
account. Did you expect it to grow like that?
No, I really didn't. Starting out, I really did not have any expectations. I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do everything. I just knew I wanted a community of moms that were together to support each other in all of the ways. Prayer requests, and slowly I've branched out into what I do. Um, I want moms to share different stories of like their struggles. I started sharing reels of moms sharing their struggles. And I think that really does help when you hear that somebody else is going through the same thing that you're going through. It really does help you to feel like you're not so alone and you're not crazy. You're not losing your mind. You're not the only one that is going through that. Um, I was at Thanksgiving and me and my friend were talking and I was kind of venting to her, and she just stopped me and she was like, I am so glad you were saying this because I feel the same way. And I feel like I'm crazy, or I feel, whatever way. And it really does validate your feelings when other people come and say that they're feeling that way. So, I'm just trying to find the best way to make moms feel, you know, that they are not the only ones going through it. There are a million people out there that probably are facing the same struggle you are. And if we can bind together, pray for each other together, that's the best way to support each other.
So true. I love it so much. It's very encouraging. Even whenever you see those prayer requests that come across your page,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, yeah, same way. Like I'll see something and I'm like, I need prayer for that too. Or I feel that same way. Or, they're needing this, or especially with all this sick season that's been going around right now, you're like, man, everyone's facing that. Every mom needs prayer for their babies or feel this way. So that's really encouraging to see that as well. Whenever you started this community, so Unashamedly You is all about going after your dreams, your goals, your purpose, something that God puts in your heart, no matter what it is, for you to unashamedly go after that. And this is a community and a page that you started that you unashamedly went after. What are some of the things that did anything hold you back? Did you ever feel like, man, maybe I shouldn't start this? Or did you ever have any of those types of thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely did. I definitely had doubts. One of the big things that I struggled with was because I was still going through everything that I was going through, I did not want people to think that I was trying to portray myself as not having struggles or knowing everything about motherhood, because I still am now, learning. I learn all the time. I'm still in my journey of motherhood, and I never want anyone to think that I'm trying to act like I have it all together. A lot of times when I share like devotionals, I will say like, this is for me. Like I need this for myself still. So yeah, that was one of the things that I really struggled with. And then also the doubt of like, who am I? Why should I be the one doing this? What do I have to offer? And if you really believe that God is using you and God gave you that, you have to learn and tell yourself over and over to have the confidence that, God is with you, he's behind you.
True. So, how did you overcome some of those thoughts and things? Because I know there's more than just you or me that feel this way, that have said, I want to start this, I want to start this community, or I want to post this. And it may be even something totally different. They may want to share mom hacks, or they may want to share
Hmm.
something that they know would be helpful for other moms. But yes, like you said, who am I to share these? Or is it really good enough? Or is it really going to even help anybody? How did you overcome some of those thoughts? What are some of the things that you did to overcome that, to just dive in and start this?
Yeah. I think realizing if you're coming from a ministry standpoint, one is just realizing that it's not about you, it's about God and the kingdom of God. And then on in other ways, if you think about the reason why you're wanting to do this, or your mission, or who you want to help, let that be like um, your driving motivation for what you're doing. Think about that. And then, obviously prayer, and then trusting God and knowing that he's with you. Just all those things can really help you, and then trying to stay positive in your mindset. Perspective is everything. Just thinking about that everyone probably has the same exact feelings that you're feeling when they start out. And why can't it be you? Why wouldn't God bless you in that way and help you?
So true. I know for myself, I had to learn, if it helped one, would you post it? Like, would you
Yes.
share this on social media, or would you talk about this, or would you do this thing if you were going to help one person?
Yes,
And
I
if
say that.
Yes, and if my answer was yes, I would gladly help one person, then why does it matter if you don't go viral? Why does it matter if you don't grow your following to 100,000 in 2
Exactly.
days?
Mhm.
I think when we
Yeah,
start things, we think that it's supposed to just gonna explode or blow up, and we wanna be like this big, and it's like, that's not what God's asking you to do. He's asking you to do this
mhm.
one thing and to start here.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I've said that from the beginning. If I just help one mom, I really don't care about how many followers I have. Whenever I have those thoughts and doubts, I think about the messages that I get and the prayer requests and the praise reports, and that really does drive me and helps me. Yeah.
So you've done more than just the podcast. You have a book, as well, or a
Mhm.
journal? Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the prayer request that I put up every week really was the, like, guide to this, the inspiration. I wrote a 30-day prayer devotional for, moms, a prayer book for moms, and basically you pray for a mom that's going through the specific thing each day. There's different things for each day, and there's scriptures there as well. And then there's also a prayer journal at the back. So I basically just wanted to help moms know how to pray for other moms. So I took the prayer requests that I normally get, and I was able to see what moms usually pray for. And I kind of had like all these categories. And so yeah, that was the inspiration, and the goal is that it helps other moms to really support and pray for other moms every day.
That's so awesome. How can they get that?
It's on Amazon, and the link is on my Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll have to share that.
Yes.
So what would you tell someone that feels they have a purpose, they want to start something, they want to do something, but they're in that place like they may not know how to get started or they don't really know exactly what to do. I love how you shared that whenever you first got started, you put it on your regular Instagram, just a prayer
Hmm.
box, and then that you also started a group chat. So it didn't grow into this Instagram account overnight. Whenever someone wants to get started with something at the very beginning, is there any tips or is there anything that you would give them that would be helpful?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say support is a big thing. My husband helps me a lot. If you have an idea, find someone that's really supportive to you and helpful to you, and talk it out with them. Um, my husband helps me a lot, and everyone has different things that they need support in. Some people need encouragement and ideas. I need to be reined in. My husband has to tell me, like, I have really big ideas, and he has to tell me, like, okay, you need to calm down. Like, we'll start it this way and it'll grow into that, or maybe do it this way. This is a better way to do it. So he really helps me a lot. I bounce all my ideas off of him. Um, and then I would say, just to go for it. It may not start out exactly how you see it in the end, and it will grow. It will flourish into eventually what you want to do. Like when I started, like you said, I started it with like a group chat, and then I started on my Instagram, and then now I have Instagram, and I just started a Facebook group. I'm not used to Facebook, so it took me a while to get the courage to do that. So I'm learning Facebook group. So yeah, it will grow as time goes on. It's not going to be like this big thing right when you just have to learn to take steps and know that it's a journey. It's not, you're not going to go from A to B right away. And just understanding, if we're talking about ministry, because mine's ministry, really, knowing that you do not have to be perfect to start. You don't have to wait until you're through your battle to start. God wants to use you. If you feel like He's giving you a burden, He can use you even when you're broken. Um, and He will use that to help you. Moms That Pray Together helped me so much. It gave me a purpose. It gave me something, not only my children, but that helped me just be motivated to get up in the day, in the morning, and have something to look forward to. And it really did give me a purpose when I felt like I didn't have a purpose anymore in my life. So yeah, that's what I would say. I would say obviously pray about it, get some support, and then just start it. Just do it. Because if you wait until it's the right time, you'll probably never start.
So true. I love that. I love that you said to find the support and find a support group because that's really what Unashamedly You is all about is having that
Hmm.
community of support to gather around. And that's why I started this is because I'm like, more people need support to go after things. If God's put something on
Yes.
your heart and you have a purpose and a reason to do it, you're not going to be happy until you start it, until you
Hmm.
get that reason, until you start going through that. And I know with you, you had said, going through postpartum depression is what even got this started. So it's like there was a purpose in your pain. There was a reason why
Hmm.
God, even though that was a horrible thing to go through, you found a reason why you were going through it to be able to help other people going through the same thing. I love that.
Yeah.
So what was a pivotal time whenever you can say that you had to put your blinders on and go after this purpose and be unashamedly you? Was there ever a time whenever you maybe didn't have the exact support of other people that you thought you would have, or there was like a time where you had went through anything where you had to say, you know what, this is what I feel God's calling me to be and to do, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah. It's funny because in hindsight, when you look back, it's just different. You think of all the things that you should have done, you could have done. I remember, if we're talking about postpartum depression specifically, when I had my first daughter, I did not deal with that. And I had come across a story. It was really sad. This mom that was dealing with postpartum depression. And I actually text somebody and I was like, if you ever have this problem, and if I ever have this problem, like we need to like just talk about it and whatever. But when you're the one actually going through it, it's different. I don't know why, but I really didn't, talk about it. I didn't tell people. I look back and I look at pictures and I'm like, you would never know that I had postpartum depression, or, my mom and my husband knew, but I didn't really talk about it, even though I do have friends and, family. But yeah, I didn't have a ton of support. That's why I kind of created that for myself in that moment. And I just felt like, because I thought of all the moms that was going through that and what I felt like I needed, that really pushed me to push through the insecurities and the doubt. Because even just in the beginning, but even now, I have times where I'm like, am I really making a difference? Like how much of a difference am I making? Is this worth it? Like you just, doubts and insecurities can creep in at any time. And I have to constantly remind myself of the why I do this. And like you said, if I can just help one mom, that helps me put those blinders on and push all that down and know that, this is worth it. If you just help one mom, if I can just help one person, then it is worth it. And it really does help. And then also God will, knowing that God will be with you. I had a moment, I remember I messaged you this actually. I had a moment where it was right after I put my book out. I mean, it was probably like the same day or the next day. And I was just dealing with crippling anxiety and doubt, because it's just such a weird feeling when you work on something and then you put it out and people can critique you. And it's just kind of like, someone said, specifically for a book, this author, that's one of my friends, she actually said, it's like you feel like you're ripping out an organ and everyone can look at it and talk about it. And it's just weird. It's a weird feeling. It's not a great feeling. And even though I was excited, but there was, the anxiety and doubt. And I was on my way home. I'll never forget this. This is like a huge moment in my life. I was doubting myself and doubting myself. And I remember God spoke to me and he said, "Why are you doubting me?" And I was thinking, I'm not doubting you, I'm doubting me. And he said, when I give you a burden, when I give you a purpose, and you believe you are working through me, then you are doubting me. You're doubting me, my ability to choose you. You're doubting my ability to use you. You're doubting my ability to work through you. And I had never looked at it that way. And I mean, I just started bawling because, and asking God to forgive me for feeling that way, because it's true. If you really believe that God's given you this burden, this purpose, you need to have the confidence to know that God is going to back you. He's with you through this whole, experience and journey. And, you're not the only one. In the Bible, Moses, just to bring up a cute little, I was reading my daughter's Bible to her last night and I was like, this is perfect right before this podcast. It's crazy because I was going to talk about this. They brought up the fact that Moses, when God spoke to him with the burning bush, he told God multiple times that he was not comfortable. He wasn't comfortable with public speaking. He said, why would the Israelites listen to me? Like, who am I to speak? Why would they listen to me? Or why would Pharaoh listen to me? And God returned his answer every time and said, I will be with thee. And that's so true. God is going to be with you. If he gave you a burden and a purpose, he is not going to abandon you throughout your journey.
Wow. That is so good. I love that. And yes, so true. I've thought about Moses so many times, or every single person that God's asked to, to use them and to give them something. He always gives us something that we're not capable of doing without him. He
Yep.
always gives us something where we have to run to him. We have to go to him for what we want to do, because that's when we know it's him.
Yes.
When he has to be the one to use us, when he has to be the one to do it through us. He's not asking us to do it. He's asking to do something through us. So I love so much that you said that. All of that was so, so good. If you had any piece of advice to give someone, just a last piece of advice to give someone that's either they're wanting to do something, or maybe they're feeling a purpose, but they're not sure exactly what it is yet.
Mhm.
What would you tell that person?
Yeah, that can be hard, knowing that you want to do something, but not knowing exactly how to do it. Because I go back and forth on things that I want to do, and I want to make sure I do it the right way. I would say, obviously, this whole time I've said to pray about everything. That's a given. But
Right.
ask people that, like I'm helping moms. So I would go to moms and say, how would you like this to be done for you? And then I think about myself too. Let's say, whatever I'm wanting to do, I need to think about, how would I like that experience? How would I want that to be done to me? How would I like to, like, I'm trying to do prayer requests on Facebook group, and I want to do the Facebook group because I want more of a community. Instagram is great, but sometimes you can't really like talk back and forth on an open page. And that's what I'm
Right.
wanting to do. And with Facebook group, and the whole point behind that was thinking, I love Facebook groups, and I love, even though I don't like really know how to use Facebook that well, I do like to go on and like chat back and forth. And I
Right.
think
And
that,
have the community.
yes, have the community. So my thought process, or the way I was thinking, was just, how would others want that or like that to be done? And so really talking to other moms, or whoever your audience is, and just getting ideas and feedback from them.
So true. That is so good. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. All of you that have listened to this podcast episode, I know that you have been so blessed, and I pray that you will let us know what you started, or if you found a purpose or you found this to be helpful, letting us know and hopping over to Lauren's Instagram and letting her know as well. She's at Moms That Pray Together. I will link all of her things on the bottom of this as well. So thank you guys so much for listening. I know that you were blessed. Thank you so much, Lauren, for sharing so much of your journey and your story, and keep doing what you're doing, because God is definitely using it for a greater purpose. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.